In this video, we're going to be discussing Jack Eichel's new contract extension with the Buffalo Sabres. I'll give you all the details and my opinion, and that's coming up next. If you're just surfing through and this is your first time here, welcome to Top Shelf Hockey. My name is Mike. If you're a huge hockey fan and you want to keep up with all the latest news, stats, scores, highlights, trades, etc. in the NHL, then start now by subscribing so you don't miss any future content. Alright, diving right into today's content. Jack Eichel and the Buffalo Sabres have reached a new contract extension to kick in next season. He's now the $80 million man, 8 years, $10 million per season. This is a huge contract for Eichel and a huge contract for the Sabres. I think at the end of the day that the Sabres needed to do this deal. If you look around the league at what teams have been doing around their upcoming young stars who need these contracts, I think they're kind of in a position where they kind of have to pony up and pay to keep Eichel long term. Now, is the contract fair value? I don't know. I guess time will tell on this one. I think Jack Eichel certainly has the potential to be a top star in this league. You know, he was drafted very highly, came in with a very promising pedigree. He's not that he hasn't played well. He's had a little bit of an injury bug so far in his career, and I guess this year, before this contract kicks in next year, will really tell the tale if this is a good value for Eichel or not. Personally, I think he's yet to break through. I think he's yet to scratch the surface on his long-term potential. I think this could be the year, based on what I've been reading online and hearing from other hockey channels and things around the web. I think a lot of people would agree that we're likely to see a breakout season from Jack Eichel this year, and I really hope for the Sabres' sake that happens. You know, how high is his ceiling? Is it going to be 30 goals, 40 goals, 50 goals? Is he 70 points, 80 points, or more? It's hard to say really at this point. Until we really see that breakthrough, it's really going to be hard to tell. I guess my only concern with this contract isn't for Eichel himself, more so for the Sabres and really the league in general. We've seen a lot of these top young players get these huge contracts lately, and it's hard to argue that they're not deserving, but at the same time, all it's going to take is a few of these to go belly up, and we're going to end up in a position with the next CBA that we might, be looking at another lockout. Obviously, with the revenue sharing system, teams like Buffalo sometimes get compensated from other teams in the bigger markets, and at some point, this has the potential to go bad. You've got a lot of other up-and-coming stars that are going to be due for contracts in the next year or two, and you're going to see them go even higher. I mean, not to knock Eichel, but Austin Matthews is going to be one of the next top stars coming due soon, and his buddy William Nylander in Toronto. Those contracts are going to be big. You could argue that Matthews has had a better start to his career than Eichel, so the odds of him getting a little bit more money is probably reasonable. I think he's not quite at McDavid's level, but he's certainly a step ahead of Eichel, so he's probably going to be somewhere in between the two. You've got the Ottawa Senators of Erik Karlsson coming up. I mean, he's not a super young guy. He's a pretty well veteran player now, but his contract's going to be coming up. He's put himself into the best player in the world conversation in last year's playoffs, as a lot of people really took notice of that. He's won a couple of Norris trophies. He's going to be demanding top dollar. He's earning around $7 million now. Would he make more money than Jack Eichel? More than likely. Would he make Connor McDavid money? Hard to say. But, we're going to be seeing some of these guys go up even higher. I mean, every time there's a big contract handed out like this, it sets a precedent for other players that are coming due in the near future. And not to say that he won't deserve it. I really hope for Eichel's sake that he plays well and earns his money, and this doesn't turn into a big buyout down the road or something like that. But if we see too many of these players getting these big money contracts, if it doesn't work out and the wins aren't there and the nucleus around the player isn't there to win the Stanley Cup, and you don't, it depends on how you measure success. But nowadays, championships is success in this league, and they all can't win every year, obviously. Are the Oilers on their way to being a contender? Absolutely. Are the Sabres? No. I mean, they do have some good foundational pieces in place, but there's a long ways from a championship. So obviously they have to start somewhere. They have to lock up the young core, and Eichel's obviously a huge part of that. So I really hope for the Sabres' sake that this works out for them. I know in the Atlantic Division, I like to see the Sabres get stronger. They have some great rivalries with, especially with the Leafs. With the borders being so close between Ontario and New York there. I really hope this works out, and I think the Sabres had to do it. I mean, really, they can't put themselves in a position to lose their star player. At the end of the day, they've been a struggling franchise in the standings, and he's one of their big glimmers of hope to get them moving forward. If they lose him, they're going to be right back to square one, and they're going to drop even further. So they had to do it. I understand. I don't disagree with it. I really hope it works out. I guess this year will be a huge telling story for Eichel. Is it going to be his coming out party? Is he really going to step up and make his way up into the top 5-10 scoring into the league this year? Is he going to be anywhere close to Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Patrick Laine? The list goes on. I guess we'll see. So let me know, what do you think of this contract? Did they pay too much? Did they have to do it? What are your thoughts? I'd like to especially hear from Sabres fans to hear what your thoughts are. Do you like this? Do you not like it? Give me your thoughts. I always want to have a discussion on here and have a debate over what you think over these news stories. So thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you want to hear future news on the NHL. And thanks for watching.